Welcome back to Get Your House in Order. I'm Elke Rubach, and I'm joined today by Dani Kagan, a creative entrepreneur and co-founder of Maven Shea. Dani's journey is about more than just building companies. It's about navigating change and pushing through discomfort and creating alignment when life feels off balance. From raising capital while raising kids to reinventing herself in moments of uncertainty, Dani embodies what it takes to design a life and a business that feels authentic. In this conversation, we'll talk about resilience, reinvention, and what it really takes to find comfort after being uncomfortable. Let's dive in. Dani, thank you for being with us here today. We go a long way. How have you been?
Thank you for having me. I've been great. Had some babies since we last saw each other. So a new business. So it's been a wild journey.
Well, welcome to Get Your House in Order. For those of you listening to us, Dani and I go back to the last episode of Fashion Heals before COVID interrupted everything. And since then, Dani has gone through several changes, including a couple of babies and a new brand and a bunch of things. Let's just dive into it. You've said that some of your biggest turning points came from moments of real discomfort. Can you share one where you thought, okay, I can't do this anymore, and how that moment redirected you?
I think entrepreneurs say I can't do this anymore, like on a weekly basis, if I'm being honest, which is part of it. Like part of this journey of building something and creating something and going off and doing something on your own is really you living in constant discomfort. You don't know when you're going to get paid next. You don't know, if you're going to be able to pay your staff. There's a lot that goes on with being in a startup. So I feel like generally the discomfort is daily and weekly. However, I feel like one really great story to share is just the pivot of deciding when my first other business, City Moguls, was going to come to an end and closing that down and pivoting into Maven Shea. And, the pandemic really helped foster that. And I think in retrospect, it was a blessing because I was in events, as you know, and I had 2 events companies and they were thriving. I had an amazing event company called City Moguls, and we featured top entrepreneurs on a runway for charity, and it was just growing into this beautiful business. And obviously when COVID hit, events really took a hit. And for many people, I think they were excited to take things online. And I really wasn't excited to do that. I did it for about a year, but it was really exhausting. And I was finding that part of my life was kind of dying a bit. Like I wasn't energized by it anymore. And I wasn't energized by that particular pivot. And so I think being really uncomfortable and like thinking of new business ideas and thinking about how to start something new that's more sustainable for my future life, because I was pregnant with my first. And that's really how I started Maven Shea. I was walking around my house barefoot in flat, shapeless slippers. Could not find a supportive slipper on the market that was chic and cozy, that offered a lot of support because I was having really bad foot and back pain. And that was really the beginning of my discovery of figuring out why this doesn't exist on the market and if there's actually people out there like me that would benefit from this type of slipper. And so I started picking up the phone and calling people and asking foot experts and podiatrists and chiropodists and osteopaths about this. And that was super uncomfortable. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, hey, I have no fashion background in terms of design, but I really want to launch this, product to help women. Can I learn from you? And I think those were some of the most uncomfortable points in my life where I was working on this new business and calling people and asking for things when maybe I had no business doing so, but I was really passionate about it. And I think that because I did the uncomfortable things, it really led me to new discovery.
And then I find it fascinating because you're really good with events. Like I saw what you did and you were just natural. And the fact that you jumped from that comfortable position to something completely unknown and completely risky, right? In the middle of a pandemic and trying to develop something as you're having kids, that's remarkable. Do you think leaders underestimate the value of being uncomfortable, or do we think that it's a glamorous thing after the fact?
Well, I think there's a couple things here. Number one, I think we over glamorize what entrepreneurship looks like. And I think we see a lot of people when they've gotten to that successful point in their journey and they're like, wow, it looks so great. But you miss out on the early stages and the early years when it's like scrappy and you have to have a lot of grit and resilience and you're doing all the jobs and nothing has like there is no job beneath you. You have to be the janitor and the CEO at the same time. So yeah, I think that there's a part of that that's over glamorized. And I think it almost makes people not want to do entrepreneurship because they didn't realize that they had to be so scrappy and so uncomfortable. But part of the journey, I mean, most of the journey is that uncomfortable piece of being scrappy and the grit that it takes and the grind and the hustle. So I think it's like the most beautiful part of my journey. It's like every day is a new adventure. You're putting out a different kind of fire every day. Like I find that so much fun. Even when it's really hard, I still find it fun. So I think like if you're that kind of person, then you can definitely take this journey. But yeah, I think that I feel like it is really over glamorized in that way. And I was going to say something else and now I forgot. You asked me, say the question again, Elke.
If we undervalue the value or underestimate the value of being uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And the second part of that was, I think we don't want to be uncomfortable as human beings. I feel like there's so much there is so much that we want in terms of comfort of knowing when we're going to be offline, comfort of knowing when you're going to see your kids, comfort of knowing when you can take vacation, comfort of knowing when you're going to get paid. But again, I think like that is the trade-off, right? Like I know that my trade-off as an entrepreneur and building my own brand is that I can go pick up my kid at 2:30 if I need to. I got called, the school called last week. I had to go pick up my kid. I didn't have anyone to report to say I have to leave work today. I just went and picked my kid up. And that's the trade-off for me. That's what I want for designing my own life.
And then I find it funny because every morning you question your sanity. Whether you've been in business one day or 25, you're like, why exactly am I doing this? But then how do you, Dani, find your north when your personal life feels unsettled, when you have the kid pulling you, the client calling you, the supplier not delivering? How do you stop that chaos from spilling into your business decisions?
One of the things that I've done that has been a game changer for me has been having a coach by my side. And one of the things that I've learned from years of being coached is that in business, especially running your own business, you can't give in to the super, super highs and the super, super lows. And what I mean by that is, there are so many fires to put out in one day that if you succumb to all that pressure, you will crumble. So part of that is staying mentally and emotionally like at a level head and staying emotionally and mentally calm as a cucumber, even when things are being thrown at your face. And I feel like that's what coaching has allowed me to do. It has really allowed me to not get too in the weeds when things are really bad, and they are bad constantly. I know everyone sees me on social media and they're like, probably like, wow, like so amazing. And she's out with her kids and she did this really cool thing and this cool event and this cool product launch, but there's so much people don't see. And a lot of it is really hard and bad. So it's just not getting down when things are down and not getting to that level. And even when things are super amazing, of course, celebrating the amazing milestones that you can hit, but not getting, above your head and getting a big head about it, like staying level, staying calm.
And you also talk about the power of having a strong circle. What advice so obviously your coach is part of your circle. What advice would you give someone who realizes that their current circle is part of what is keeping them stuck?
What I've done is I constantly take a good look at who I'm surrounding myself with constantly, because those people influence you way more than you know. And of course, there are people in your life, and there's people in my life that you can't really just cut off, let it be family or a family friend or, someone that has to be a part of your life. And I think that's kind of separate from this conversation. That's like, go do your therapy and like deal with the people that are in your life in that way. But
yeah,
the other people in your life that you're surrounding yourself with, like I have now a circle of amazing female founders around me. I have implemented that into my life. They didn't just come out of nowhere. I search them out. I go to events. I go meet people. And when I find someone that's like really amazing, that is aligned with my values, is, determined and driven, they become part of my circle. Like I bring them into my circle. And that goes for mentors as well. Like when I know someone has done an amazing job at whatever they're doing, whether it's in tech or finance or marketing, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't need to be the same field as me. I think I seek them out and I bring them into my circle. And, this has been part of my secret sauce of how I've gotten to where I am right now. And I would never be able to have done this without removing some people from my circle and bringing new people into my circle that are aligned on same wavelength.
Yeah, my coach also said that like you're the result of the people you hung out with 5 to 10 years ago. So be strategic on where you want to be 5 to 10 years from now, because personally, professionally, business, I don't know, spiritually, everything, you're who you hang out with. Bad ideas, worse ideas, some fun ideas.
Yeah. So, and it's also like an energy thing. Like you said, like spiritually, like there are people in my life that like I will hang out with less if I can help it, because just spiritually they're bringing me down, or we're not, like the energy level needs to be up for me. Like even if I'm not up every day, like being around people who are complaining constantly, or they're in bad moods, or they just have nothing good to say. Like these are not people you want to be around, because they bring your energy down. And so from an energy standpoint too, just again, it doesn't need to be like you need to have this circle of everyone needs to be like a top 1% founder, but they need to have good energy and be able to like lift you up as well. And you can lift them up as you grow.
Yeah, I like it because it's kind of like feeding itself. So it's good. But you reinvented yourself dramatically, from events to slippers. So you had to let go of something that was familiar. What was the hardest thing for you to let go of, and what space did that create for you? And I assume people is one, but what else?
What did I have to let go of? I mean, I literally had to shed like an entire identity, right? Like we tie a lot of our worth and identity to what we're doing, right? So to actually say, I'm not doing these events anymore. Like I'm not the co-founder of City Moguls anymore. Like we're not doing this anymore. I think like shedding that piece of my identity was really tough. So I would call that probably like the biggest thing, and learning how to build something else without tying my identity to that as well. Right. So like I am my own person. Maven Shea is this amazing, beautiful brand that I'm building, but like we're also separate in so many ways. Like there's so much more to me. Right. So I think like we tie a lot of our success to the external things, and just like shedding that part of me, like looking deep, and like there's so many other parts of me as a human being, right? But and honestly, like from the business side of things, I think just like switching from being a service provider to someone who provides a product to people is like seriously game changing, because you're really, as a service provider, you are the product, right? But now I'm building a product. I don't have any of this experience. I need to bring in experts and figure out how to design this. I need to learn about supply chain and manufacturing and all this stuff. And I actually went and visited our factory in Brazil because I was very committed to seeing the factory and seeing our partners and seeing who we were working with, and being boots on the ground. So that was like a big piece of it as well. And just like learning how to sell a product. It was so different. You have to like learn how to use Shopify. You have to learn how to build a tech stack. You have to learn how to sell in Canada and the US. Like, you're hit with all of these new things that you never had to deal with. So I feel like that was like my biggest learning curve, is just going from service to product. And I love it. Like, I've always loved the idea of selling something that you can physically touch and feel, and seeing other people wear it. And I had this moment actually like 3 weeks ago where a friend of mine who's a flight attendant messaged me, and she said, we are doing like a training right now to be something with her flight attendant course. And we're doing training, and we had to remove our shoes. And I looked down at the girl's shoes next to me, and she was wearing a pair of Maven Shea slippers. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like the fact that like she chose to wear these slippers to like her training because she loves them so much. Like, this is what it's been about, right? So it's really hard in the early stages when you don't know what the heck you're doing, but like getting to this place where people are actually wearing the product, I love that.
So how's your company structured? Is it just you? Do you have partners? How does it work?
I have an amazing co-founder, Victoria. We have been business partners and best friends for over 15 years. So we've known each other since early days at University of Toronto when we were both on the dance team. That's how we met. We both grew up dancing competitively, and we met through dance at U of T. So it's been a big part of our journey. Honestly, having like a co-founder by your side that like you trust and is like a part of your life, and you just think differently and bring different things to the table has been huge for me. So her and I are full-time in Maven Shea. We've been doing that full-time since the beginning, since 2020. And then we have a few other people on our team who are doing we have an amazing head of biz dev. We have an amazing admin person, customer service, and trying to grow the team.
And so how many people are you now?
We're about 5 people. We're pretty nimble. And then we have about 3 to 4 other people that we bring in contractually throughout the year.
Oh, that's fabulous. So you're selling in Canada, you're selling in the US, you have a 4-year-old, you have a baby. What's your day like?
Every day is different. Every day is a different type of chaos. And I really do think that you have to be someone who thrives in a little bit of chaos, because I don't know anyone that can have kids and run businesses and be like, my house is always clean, and I'm always showered, and my hair's always done, and my kids look adorable, and they're that doesn't happen. Sometimes my kids look really cute, and I look 2 feet behind them completely disheveled. I think that's just part of it. So you have to be someone who's willing to live a little bit more in chaos. But honestly, every day is so different. Some days I'm doing things like this where I'm on someone else's podcast. I have my own podcast, so I'm recording that right now throughout the fall. Some days I'm talking to my manufacturer. Some days I'm talking to my product developer. Some days we're talking to people in the US to do a collaboration. We just came back from 5 days in Vancouver where we did an amazing event. So speaking of events, I still do events through Maven Shea. So I'm not a fully retired event planner. So we do plan some events sometimes. So we did an amazing women's event in Vancouver, and I spoke at an event. So, every day is just very different, which I personally love and thrive off of. And yeah, I'm meeting new people all the time, which is really part of it. If there's one thing I could do differently about my day to day, is remove a few meetings from my day and go out and meet more people and go to events. And that's really how I've built the business. So it's just a lesson for myself, I guess, to remove some meetings from my calendar and insert more going out into the universe.
It's fascinating how everybody says you need to learn how to say no. And we know the concept, but do we do it?
It's hard.
It's hard for sure. So where do you see your company going in the next, let's forget 10 years. Give me 3 years. What's your plan?
The plan, I mean, our mission always is to help millions of women step into their days more comfortably, more confidently. And I feel like that's just like the North Star always. And it's like, how do we just get more women into our amazing slippers because they actually change people's lives? Like I get messages on a weekly, if not daily basis of like, oh my God, thank you so much. I didn't realize like this actually really improved my lower back pain. Like I've been wearing them consistently. Or, oh my God, I just left the house in my slippers and normally I'd be so embarrassed, but like yours are so cute. Like I felt so chic. Like, thank you so much. Like these types of messages is really what continues me to thrive and go and like keep pushing, even when it's really hard. So yeah, I think like the future of Maven Shea is like growing the brand and like getting this on more women. We really want to expand into some new product lines. We really want to expand into Europe. I really want to start a men's line because I feel like there are so many men that would really benefit from our slippers and we get asked about it all the time. So it's a matter of like growing sustainably and getting to profitability and getting to that place where, you know, the systems are really running. And I want the business to get to a place where, okay, now if I went away for 2 weeks, the business can like totally run on its own for me personally, right? Like that's something that I want to build, like something really sustainable. And also just like keep iterating. Like that's part of it too, right? Getting product feedback from customers. I would love to see this kind of slipper. Do you do this? And like creating new things based on customer feedback. I love doing that. It's literally why we created our Frida slipper because we got so many questions about like a summer slipper with less shear length. So we created it and it's been a game changer because it's so popular now. It's really fashionable. So yeah, I think it's just like spreading the word, getting bigger, like growing sustainably and, you know, growing our product line and our offering.
So if you had a magic wand, in the hands of whom would you put these slippers? Like who would be your ideal dream person that you would be on a podcast or this person promoting your product? What would be your goal?
Oh my gosh, there's so many people I would love to get our slippers on. You know, someone who comes to mind for me is like someone who I idolize and like I love her. Like I feel like I know her and she's just like an A-list celebrity. So I obviously don't know her, but I would love to get these on someone like Natalie Portman or like someone like Charlize Theron, like these beautiful women who are just like so powerful and exude so much confidence and are just like classy ladies, like classy, amazing women who like we all love and adore. I would love to get them on someone like Misty Copeland because they're our dance background. Like it would be really cool to do a collab with her because she's an incredible dancer. And I just feel like it would be a really cool collaboration there. Yeah, there's so many people. I'm like, the world is our oyster, but yeah, I feel like that caliber of women would be incredible for us. And honestly, like I would love to see the Kardashians wearing our slippers, like, and just like their cool black outfits and our black mule. Like, I feel like it would be super cool. I just like adore them and I love their whole family. And just to like even get Chris in them would be super cool.
Okay. So well, let's see if the wand works.
Let's go.
Let's go. If you don't ask, you don't get. Like all these little kids that throw their texts and their tweets to people and it works, but why not? If you don't ask, you don't get.
That's it.
It's funny because I would have said someone like Mel Robbins or because she's like,
yeah,
get things done.
I love to get our slippers on Mel Robbins. I'm obsessed with her. I love her podcast and I love her. So yeah, I would love to get them on Mel Robbins. That would be very cool.
She's like, what are you complaining about? Wake up, get up, let's go. Okay, let's go. Let's keep walking. Yeah. So when you were fundraising, let's going back to funding, because that's hard. And we know women have a harder time finding funds than men, for whatever reason. You were literally navigating boardrooms while breastfeeding. So that's vulnerability and power in the same moment. How did those experiences shape your definition of strength?
I mean, first of all, breastfeeding moms, like full-time job, like so much time, so much energy. You have to like be constantly eating and taking care of yourself. And like it is excruciatingly painful for most women. And it was like, very painful for me at the beginning. And just like it's exhausting. Like it truly is. And I feel like that alone in and of itself, like is absolutely incredible and like so beyond anything that anyone can imagine. And I feel like for me, doing that while raising money has just been like, wow, I'm like actually a superhero. Like recognizing how much time breastfeeding takes and energy and like emotions and mental space it takes up on like thinking about when your baby has to feed and when they have to feed next and like listening to cues and doing all of that while running a business and trying to raise capital, like in and of itself is just like, it's superhuman. It's actually superhuman. And I feel like I used to just be like, yeah, like everyone does it. Like there's so many women who do this. And now I'm kind of at a place where I'm just like, actually, this is incredible. And I just want to like recognize how amazing that is. But yeah, I feel like raising money at the beginning was really interesting because I had no idea I didn't know how to raise any money. I didn't know anything about the landscape of VC culture, about angel investing, about different vehicles you can use for raising money. And so I really leaned on YouTube to teach me a lot of things and reaching out to old mentors from my previous business on raising capital and how to raise capital for a product-based business, and learned very quickly that it's extremely hard. Most people don't want to invest in CPG. However, when there's a will, there's a way. And it's really a lot about your storytelling at the beginning and getting people invited into your vision and your dream, because you're selling them with maybe like one really shitty prototype, which is exactly what we were doing. And a deck that, you just put together that you have no experience making that deck. So you're really selling people on your vision and your dream. And I feel like at the beginning, that's really how we were able to get some of our capital, because we had a really clear dream. We had a really clear way of getting to the market. Our go-to-market strategy was really concise, and we thought it out and figured out how to make that actually viable. And honestly, like the people around me were really helped. Like I leaned on so many people for advice and basically gathered all this advice on how you can raise capital. And then Vic and I made decisions based on that, and didn't take all the advice in the world, but we took some of it and figured out how to raise on a safe. We figured out, how much our valuation cap should be and the discount, and, what this would mean for us as founders in the future and how much equity we would have. And we did decide after bootstrapping for quite some time that it wasn't sustainable and we really needed to raise capital. So we figured out how to do it and learned from, all the people around us, YouTube, and just teaching yourself. I think really that's the part of the journey that I think a lot of entrepreneurs love and thrive off of, which is the learning. You are in constant learning mode. And as soon as you're not learning and you're coasting, something's not right in your business. And I feel like when you dedicate your time and your life to just figuring out how to do things on your own and learning, then like the world is your oyster. Like the limit does not exist on how much you can do, because learning is endless.
How big was your first raise?
We raised just under $1 million Canadian, mostly from family, friends, and angels. And we had one institutional investor in there.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, that's not an easy feat. Like it's not.
Yeah, especially when we had a really shitty prototype. Like I look back now and I'm like, gosh, I can't put money on this, like a napkin drawing, even initially for some of these investors, right? So I really think it's about the storytelling, your vision, what you can showcase that you're able to do, and that you can showcase that you are, you are a very determined person.
Just got it. So dead before you give up.
Yeah.
And are the tariffs impacting you?
I think the tariffs are impacting every single person that I know. I don't think there's anyone that it's not impacting. It's been extremely interesting to navigate right now. And we've really had to shift our whole US strategy. Like we were about to start hustling hard to grow in the US about 2 months ago. And the whole strategy just kind of got flipped on its head. And you know what? We were really forward thinking because we didn't want to sit around and be naive and be like, maybe they won't go through or like, maybe this won't happen. And we were like, let's open up a US warehouse. So we do have inventory in the US at our warehouse there, and we do have inventory in Canada. So we're able to service both of our customer bases that way. But yeah, it's definitely still impacting us in terms of ordering inventory from Brazil. And, you know, when we are out of stock on something in the US, we can't just easily ship it now from Canada. It's really tough. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting Q4 and next few years, hopefully less. Hopefully this ends soon. But I think one of the things that we do really well is not just sitting around and waiting and hoping, and just taking action and making concise decisions.
Which is exactly what I tell people. Like, don't wait for the government to table a budget. Don't wait for the tariffs to be lifted. Don't wait for unicorns to come and rescue you, because they're not going to come and rescue you. You have to be proactive. Hey, Dani, well, thank you so much. It's obviously a treat to see you again, and happy to see that things are working, and that you're doing what your passion is right now, and your kids are growing. So enjoy them, because they do grow real fast.
Thank you. It was so nice to be here and see you as well.
That was Dani Kagan, a conversation about courage, reinvention, and the power of finding comfort on the other side of discomfort. If there's one takeaway, is this: it's discomfort isn't a sign of failing. It's often a signal that something is wanting to be built. And the real question is, are you willing to pause, realign, and get your house in order so you can move really forward with intention? I'm Elke Rubach, and this has been Get Your House in Order. Don't just settle for comfort. Build the kind of comfort that comes with clarity, purpose, and courage. Thanks for listening.